Hello and welcome to my weekly warm-up session. Here I am at the foot of the Mourne Mountains in County Down on the most glorious day. Absolutely fantastic. But I'm aware that the stream here is very noisy indeed, so maybe I'm going to go somewhere else where it's a little bit quieter. And here I am in the foothills of the Mourne Mountains in County Down, and it is the most glorious day. I've tried to get a little bit of a view behind you to see. The scenery here is absolutely fantastic. A little bit blowy, I suppose, but hey, can't have everything. So I hope you've all had a good week this week. It's been a pretty busy week, and of course it's been excruciatingly hot. No doubt it has been down on the coast, but at least you've had the sea to bathe in. It's a little bit cooler over here, but it's pretty boiling today, I have to say, as well. I don't know whether any of you caught this week's BBC Radio 3 Coral Evensong, which was broadcast again from St Martin in the Fields, but this week by the BBC Singers, or members of the BBC Singers, and quite a lot of contemporary music, including a lovely anthem by John Scott, the former organist of St Paul's and of St Thomas Fifth Avenue in New York, who sadly died very early, very suddenly, 5 years ago yesterday. So it was a lovely tribute to John, who was such a lovely man, and what he would have made of these troubled times in the church music circles, I don't know really, but he was a pretty strong character. Anyway, John and I, as ever, have prepared a liturgy, like Blue Peter. It's one I did earlier and one John did earlier, for this Sunday, and you can see details of that on the Swanage Team website, www.swanegeteam.com, I think is right. So some more lovely hymns for you to enjoy as well and to sing along, so I hope that you are able to do that, or if not, get together in church on Sunday morning. So I was thinking what I could point you to this week in terms of music, and I thought because I'm in Ireland I ought to think of an Irish composer, and the obvious person that comes to mind is Charles Villiers Stanford, whom we all know. We sing some of his lovely canticles, the Stanford in B-flat, which was on Coral Evensong this week, Stanford in A, Stanford in C, all those fantastic settings. But he wrote a set of 3 Latin motets, which some of you will be familiar with 1 or 2 of them, but maybe not all of them. And I want to point you to those today, the 3 Latin motets, which were written at the turn of the last century. Stanford was born in Dublin, and he went to school in Dublin, and then he came over and studied at Cambridge, and extraordinarily he was appointed Director of Music at Trinity College, Cambridge, when he was still an undergraduate. And these 3 motets, unaccompanied motets, he wrote after he'd left for his successor, Alan Gray, and they really are absolutely superlative. Stanford was known as a great teacher, particularly at the Royal College of Music, and his pupils read like a who's who of 20th century music. Ralph Vaughan Williams, Gustav Holst, Herbert Howells, Arthur Bliss, amazing really, John Ireland as well. So he was hugely influential. He wrote a number of symphonies, a number of concertos. He wrote opera even, so he's not just a man that wrote Stanford in B-flat. But anyway, back to these 3 motets, all written in Latin, as I say. The first one, Justorum Animae, the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, which has a sort of fairly reflective, it's sort of in 3 sections, a reflective opening, and at the end with a slightly more buoyant middle section. And then probably the best known of the 3, Beati Quorum, blessed are those that walk in the law of the Lord, which is a 6-part motet, absolutely glorious, the way it just develops and works through. And then probably the least well known, but probably the most exciting of the 3, Celos Ascende Odie, which is an Ascension-tide motet. It's written for double choir, unaccompanied, and you get these sort of answering phrases. And again, it has the most amazing amen at the end, which sort of builds up from nothing. I always equate it to one of those natural history films of a flower growing from nothing and growing outwards. Just so exciting, and finishes with this sort of blazing climax. So 3 Latin motets by Stanford to listen out for. And then as a bonus track today, nothing to do with Stanford, but again to do with Ireland, one of my favourite arrangements. When you think of Ireland, you think of Danny Boy, you think of the Londonderry Air, and a number of years ago now, John Rutter wrote an arrangement of the Londonderry Air without words for his Cambridge Singers. So as a sort of postscript today, I'm going to point you towards the Londonderry Air, arranged by John Rutter, and just hear the glorious harmonies, and it's just quite amazing really. So I've brought my trusty pitch pipe with me here, so I'm just checking there's nobody around. I'm in the middle of absolutely nowhere, so I think it's unlikely. So we do a little warm up. It actually needs to be a cool down here really, but so here we go. So how about, let us just do to ooh, we just go ooh, sing along with the wind. Ooh, and the semitone higher. Ooh, and the semitone higher. Ooh, and the semitone higher. Ooh, and then we'll change to E. E. Another one. E. And another one. E. And then we change to R. R. And then another one. R. And then another one. R. Super, well done. Don't know whether you could hear me above the wind. It seems to be getting a bit stronger now. Let's do some ya. Ya, 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 ya. Off you go. Ya, 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 ya. 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 One more. Ya, 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 ya. Okay. And do you remember a few weeks ago we did a little sort of nimble exercise and we did bread and butter, bread and butter, bread and butter. Well, my children bet me that I wouldn't ask you to sing down some scales very nimbly to pint of Guinness, pint of Guinness, pint of Guinness. So I'm going to give it a go. So we go up here. Pint of Guinness, 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 pint of Guinness. And the next one. Pint of Guinness, pint of Guinness, pint of Guinness, pint of Guinness. I didn't do that very well. That was only half a one. Let's do that one again. Pint of Guinness, 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 pint of Guinness. I think that's very hard. So we'll go to the next one and we'll go fish and chips. Fish and chips, 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 fish and chips. And the next one. Fish and chips, 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 fish and chips. I think I should quit while I'm ahead here, not doing very well. So I'll tell you what, let's just do a few to R. Going down. R. And the next one. R. And the next one. Ah, and the next one. Ah. Okay, so I know we've got some people walking past me now, so they'd have heard everything that I said, but never mind. There we go, just to show you that it's live. I'm going to keep looking this way so I don't see the reaction on their faces. Anyway, I hope that was all really helpful for you and that you enjoyed it. A bit ad hoc, wasn't it? It just shows it was live. Anyway, so I wish you all a really good week, and I hope that you have a nice restful time as we go through August, and I will be with you again next Friday, and I'll see if I can find somewhere else very strange to be. Okay, until then, stay safe, stay well, have fun,